This guest episode was recorded outdoors at Susan Crowder's home with Susan, her daughter Maizee, her granddaughter Jo, my wife Jordan, and my daughter Sophie. You'll hear background sounds and interruptions because this is real life.
911, what's your emergency?
This is an extended, long-form conversation. You'll hear kids, popsicles, dogs, wind, laughter, crosstalk, and unfiltered first responder language. We kept it all in on purpose. It's messy, raw, and worth the ride.
The following content is graphic, emotional, and includes dark humor that may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. Explicit content included. These stories are based on real-life EMS and first responder experiences. The calls are real. The providers are real. Names and patient details have been changed to protect privacy. Episodes may include trauma, suicide, abuse, medical emergencies, mental health struggles, or things your HR department would definitely not approve of. Any advice, opinions, or discussion of medical procedures are based on personal experience and should never override your local protocols, medical direction, or training. Use your damn brain. Follow your guidelines and your local or agency protocols. Follow your training. And when in doubt, call med control. Most importantly, if you're struggling, don't do it alone. Talk to someone, a coworker, a friend, a therapist, or hell, reach out to me. I'll answer. Need help right now? Text or call 988 or visit 988lifeline.org. The following content is graphic, emotional, and includes dark humor that may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. Explicit content included. These stories are based on real-life EMS and first responder experiences. The calls are real. The providers are real. Names and patient details have been changed to protect privacy. Episodes may include trauma, suicide, abuse, medical emergencies, mental health struggles, or things your HR department would definitely not approve of. Any advice, opinions, or discussion of medical procedures are based on personal experience and should never override your local protocols, medical direction, or training. Use your damn brain. Follow your guidelines and your local or agency protocols. Follow your training. And when in doubt, call med control. Most importantly, if you're struggling, don't do it alone. Talk to someone, a coworker, a friend, a therapist, or hell, reach out to me. I'll answer. Need help right now? Text or call 988 or visit 988lifeline.org.
To having the income from working all these jobs, which caused the stroke.
Well, on that note, was it easier to move from being a cop to medic, or was it harder than... What do you think would be easier, moving from cop to medic or medic to cop?
I think physically being a cop was harder, but I enjoyed being a cop better.
I gotcha. So you would call it more your home base would be the uniform would be police?
I think my soul liked being a cop better, but I enjoyed being able to have... I liked being able to have the patience.
Gotcha.
So with being a cop, you take people to jail and they're out of jail by the time you would finish the report.
Right.
But with patients, you help them and you take them to the hospital and you see a result.
Gotcha.
So
you like seeing the ending, not just the beginning and the aftermath. You like seeing the beginning, the middle, and the aftermath, not just the let's get this done and over with.
Yes. But at the same time, I like chaos.
Right.
Like any people, I shouldn't say any people, but most people that are in public service, they like the chaos. They like the, what do you call it? The adrenaline rush. And you get it out of all of it.
Right.
Even fire.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
the lights go on, you go to the call, something's wrong. Even when you stand back and like at Dauphin Island, even when I was a PSO,
right.
You stand back and you watch the officers do their job because you're there. You're the third to help. If something goes wrong, you're going to help.
Well,
them.
that's why I like working. I mean, that's how me and you met was Dauphin Island. That's actually why I enjoy being a PSO down there is you do get to see the whole realm of it. You get to see that you are the medical on the island. That's really what you are. And then, of course, you're there as backup for fire. You're there for technical backup as PD. Not, you don't have weapons, but you're there if they need you. So,
right.
And that to me, I think there should be more fields of that line in the end, in my opinion.
Right.
Because it does bridge a gap that a lot of communities are missing, and it does kind of, in my mind, it helps you kind of more clearly think on the medical side of things when you're there to help your comrades of fire and
Right.
PD. So that seemed to me that helps a lot.
What drew you to be a cop? Was there like something in your childhood that said, "Hey, I want to go be a cop," or was it just like I'm 10 years old and cop going down the highway looks fun as shit?
My parents fought all the time, and my brother-in-law at the time when I was younger was a cop, and he would always come in and he would say, "Hey," and he just had this thing about him that he could just come in and he could make them stop arguing. And then the cops would always come and break my parents up after that. You know what I mean? So to me, they knew how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just grew to want to be a cop after that.
Trauma loves trauma.
Yep. I wanted to be able to be the dissolver. I wanted to be able to stop it.
So when the stroke happened, I know that changed everything. So walk me through that.
Well, I woke up one day and I got told I had a stroke.
Didn't it happen on duty on the island, if I'm not mistaken?
No.
No? Okay.
No. So, no, this is what I was told. So.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Remember, I had one too.
Yes.
I don't remember everything either. So
I woke up in the hospital, and after a month or so, I woke up in the hospital, and of course, the kids had to tell me that I'd had a stroke, and I'd had multiple brain surgeries. I had 3 hemorrhages, and I had ended up having 2 aneurysms. So multiple brain surgeries, and also had to have a temporary shunt, and then they had to place a permanent shunt. But
and then you still have a hole to play with.
I still have holes to play with that have to be examined on a
regular basis
and been tucked, and even my granddaughters like to put their fingers in them and use me as a bowling ball. If you don't finger the hole, it's not right. But
You go, wee.
yeah, wee.
Siren button.
That's right. Put me outside the window. Turn the lights on.
So one moment you're running the calls, next moment you're the patient. What was that like, flipping sides so fast? I mean,
well,
I know, like you said, you don't remember a lot of it, but
apparently it didn't change anything because they had me in ICU that night. They did a surgery immediately to drain the blood off and do whatever they had to do. And that night, I knew just enough from working in the hospital and knowing the codes that I was up doing CPR on a patient. I beat the nurses to the room, and I was doing CPR on a patient that had coded, and the nurses and the doctors had to pull me off the patient, and I had my little brain drain following with me from an IV pole, and the doctor had to walk me back to my room. And I do remember somebody screaming and yelling at me and threatening me with restraints, but apparently that didn't stop me because it happened multiple times that night. And I don't...
You know, the funny thing about that is I could see you doing this.
Yeah, I guess it was just muscle memory, and I just all night. And then it was like 51st dates because there were like, and the kids saved, I still have the posters, or a few of the posters upstairs. There were posters all over the room that said, "Don't leave the room. Call me when you wake up. Hey," and apparently this was like the evil time because this always happened like around 1 and 3 and 5 a.m. in the morning. And it was just like me working a 24-hour truck. You know, the calls went out. I was getting up and answering the calls,
right.
You know. But, I mean, I it was only in the unit. Thank God I didn't leave the floor. I mean, I could have been out in the parking lot. I mean, I offered to do some things in the parking lot, too, for some Tylenol, but...
oh, come on. So it's just Tylenol. No morphine?
No, I didn't want anything hard because I was already floating. I did offer to do some nasty things to a nurse for some pieces of Tylenol.
Was it at least a sexy nurse?
No, and he didn't prefer women. So
Oh, okay. Maybe I know what nurse you're talking about then. Anyways.
yeah, I just
It was a lose-lose situation.
yeah, I told him, it doesn't matter if you're gay or not. Everybody likes it, and I just wanted some Tylenol, and it wasn't time for Tylenol, and all I wanted was some Tylenol. I said, at least you get it, and I just needed Tylenol. And my daughter had to rein me in because that was not appropriate. He wouldn't be my nurse anymore after that.
Oh, come on.
I really hurt his poor little feelings. I think he was fresh out of school.
Oh, that makes sense.
So yeah,
I mean, the era we were in, there is a lot of new nurses that don't have a lot of experience.
He was not our generation.
Yeah.
He didn't understand the culture of us. He was not our generation.
And that goes to the bridge of, not the bridge, but the old war of nurses versus medics. I mean, we do in the end have the same thinking, but in the end, as a medic and a cop and a firefighter, I mean, you're a lot darker and a lot more able to go to the darkness than they are because they don't get to see everything like we see.
If he would have been from the ER, he'd have understood it.
Right. ER nurses are different.
He was not from the ER. He was straight up out of school, never been around that. He may not have returned back to nursing after that. I really hurt his feelings. Because I think I shit on him that night too. So I don't know. I mean, sexual favors and shit in one night. It wasn't working for him. And,
I mean, he had the trifecta.
And Maizee had to help him clean me up. He had to walk out. He was gagging. It wasn't good. So anyway.
You might have killed a poor guy.
I mean, I don't know. Back in our day, that would have been a great night for him. But I don't know. Poor thing. Sweet little pudding. But yeah, it was an event. I left my imprint on that hospital. I think there were probably some policies that changed. And this was during COVID, by the way. This was all during COVID.
Yeah.
But they had to let one of the girls stay with me. Alyssa had to stay with me, and she had to sleep with her leg on top of me. So I wouldn't leave the room. And that didn't help. I still snuck out, and she would have to confine me and walk me back to the room like a child. And Alyssa is 23 years younger than I am.
Right.
And she would have to walk me back to the room like a child. And she still gets on to me for that and has to remind me of the things that I did when I was in the hospital and the things that I said to people. And apparently I sent out emails, and they took me off my work email because I sent some sexual things out on my work email and talked about the things that we shouldn't have to exchange for our lives at work. And what I did, because I took pictures of my brain and told them what they did to me from work and sent it out to everybody in the corporate.
The funny thing
everybody.
is, I think, like I said, when I had my stroke, they say mine wasn't a stroke in the end. I know it was. They said it was in the beginning, and then they changed the documentation. But you don't give TPA for a migraine. So anyway.
That's
right. But I think in the end, a lot of that is the mental accumulation of stress we build on ourselves.
Yes.
That I think affects a lot of us.
Right.
In the end. And I know that that pretty much ended your career right there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I was working like 7 days or 14 days straight and not coming home. I was working AM and PM shifts, swapping out. Like I would work an AM shift working as a hearing specialist, testing hearing in a corporate day job, and then going back to my medic job and working a night shift and trying to catch a nap, and then going back to my corporate job, and then going back to my paramedic job at another location. And I just kept on and kept on and kept on, and I would do that until they didn't need me anymore. And I'd catch a shower at the medic side because they always had a shower, and you'd catch that nighttime nap and think that you were fine, and then you'd medicate yourself with caffeine, and you'd do that over and over and over in protein drinks and caffeine and caffeine and caffeine.
Gas station hot dogs.
Do what?
Gas station hot dogs.
Yeah, no.
Oh, come on, that's me. But anyway.
No, that would clean you out too fast, and then you got to get another shower. No.
See, they don't do that to me. But
oh yeah, no.
I like gas station hot dogs. But anyways.
Were you doing all those shifts just to pay the bills,
yes,
or were you doing that?
Well, when you're taking care of said 10 kids and trying to build a house, because we were building the house then.
Yeah, they're building this at that time.
So I had literally two different places that I'm trying to pay for. Then because we were trying to build the house and pay for the lot and then having to rent a place and pay for all those bills. So you've got 2 times the amount of bills, and 5 dogs, 10 people, car note, insurance. Think about this, Sophie, before you start life. Adulthood sucks.
It does.
You think as a kid when you're in high school and you don't agree with the decisions that your parents make that you want to hurry up and get into it, but then when you get into it, you're like, I want to go back. Anyway.
Yeah, just to mention on there for everybody who's going to be listening, I have my daughter and my wife with us also asking questions for Susan, so that's the other random voices you're hearing, not just mine and hers.
And another thing, I found out that going from policing into fire and EMS is that you found yourself, even though you were working part-time or full-time for fire and EMS, it allowed you more time to work other jobs versus being a police officer. A police officer, you were working more 10-hour, 4 days a week, but they wouldn't allow you to work other jobs.
No.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did. When I did Mount Vernon, they frowned upon me doing the county thing, but I told them I'm not leaving it. So
yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons the chief wouldn't send me to the academy, because I went behind his back and still did EMS. And he's like, look, you got to choose one or the other. Well,
yeah.
To me, I couldn't choose one or the other. I wanted both.
Right.
But
and I don't think that that's right. It's not.
It's not. I don't think it's right either. And I even brought up to the fact to him that, I was like, look, I am a trained, I was an advanced at that time, but I am a trained EMT. You should give me some kind of medical gear to be able to keep in the car at least for,
right.
Because as well as I do, up there's no emergency response.
Mm-mm.
You have to wait longer than we do down here for an ambulance. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get an ambulance up there.
Right.
So I didn't see the problem with it, but he did. But
that's also kind of how, he's no longer there, thank God.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Chief Claw.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call him out because he was not a good chief. He may have been a great police officer. I was not there for that, but he was not a great leader. But he would not allow the police officers to help EMS, just like EMS were not allowed to help the police officers in the way that we should have been able to do that.
Right.
But he expected it. But he refused us the devices to do that. So and I say that in retrospect, but it's an island, and there are a large amount of people on this island at any part in time. And I'm just trying to give you an idea. It's a vacation island.
Right.
So we have snowbirds, and then we have summer vacationers, and we have, in retrospect, 3 employees on at any given time. And these 3 employees are backing each other up. And this is when I worked.
Yeah.
They have since changed things.
Well, right now it's still only 4 if you think about it. You have two officers and 2 PSOs.
Okay, so even given 4. But so you have these employees, and if something goes awry, in the state of Alabama, a PSO is a public safety officer, not POS that I used to call us. But yes, it does stand for piece of shit, because that's how we were treated. Now, given there is a thin line in between both, because in the state of Alabama, a public safety officer can be treated as an extension of a police officer. That means that we could carry a type of weapon, which could even include a gun, a taser, and or OC spray.
Right. Which, of course, you just have to be trained in.
Given you had to be trained in, you had to be certified in.
Right.
But that had to go along with the town or the city or the county council and what their approval was.
Right.
Now, that being said, the police department could, in return, also, the police officers could have EMS training or fire training. And there was interest from several officers.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you actually spearheading that, if I'm not mistaken.
And I volunteered to train because I am a EMT and paramedic instructor. And I volunteered to train for free anyone that would do it. And we had it all set up, and the police chief refused it.
Right.
We even went to town council and the mayor. They approved it, and the chief refused it.
Right.
I had everything that we needed. All we needed were books and his approval. And the books are not that expensive if you look at it.
No, they're
it's
like
just
$200-300. I mean, and they could get that. No offense to this town by any means. I'm still PRN there, but
it's nothing.
That's nothing to them. That's like spending it for a cup of coffee for us in real life. I mean,
but the problem that they looked at it is that they were going to have to, in return, go up and pay because they were going to be cross-trained.
Right.
And they knew that was going to have to be the next question was, are we going to have to go up and pay because they're cross-trained?
Right.
Because in return, we were going to be able to help each other on shifts. Now, let's talk about a patient. If you have a patient in full arrest, you have one person that can take care of that person at the time, because there was only one EMS.
Yep.
Now, the officers could help you pull up equipment and ultimately could help you do chest compressions, and that was really about it, because we didn't have anything else.
And there's very few volunteers down there that actually show up. They like to run calls when there's fires, but when it comes to medical, it's very
correct,
few and far between.
Now you also have, well, let's say on the police side, you have a shooting, or you have somebody that gets hit in the head with a frozen cup of ice and takes out an officer like it did, and the other one has somebody taking their gun away from them.
Right.
And the PSO can't do anything.
Right, they're not armed with nothing.
They cannot legally do anything because the chief has abandoned all efforts to help them.
Right.
If they run to the car and grab a gun, they can legally be held responsible for not having the training to go and grab that gun. So the PSO has to say in their head, I know I can be legally charged with going and getting this gun and doing what I have to do
to save this other member.
To save these people.
Right.
And they have all the training that they know that they need to do it.
Right.
So you have to ask morally, do I do this? And there have been a lot of things in the public eye where people have had to do that. I mean, look at the shooter with Trump.
Right.
That guy was given the command not to do it.
Recently, the guy the other day. I mean, hell, there was actually a school shooting the other day. I mean, on that note of things, Colorado, I think there was a school shooting, if I'm not mistaken. So on that note, again, it would help to, I'm not trying to get political on anything by any means for anybody, but in the end, if they did pass legislature or rules or regulations for EMS to be able to carry, I mean, yes, I don't agree with every EMS member carrying by any means, but if you're able to qualify, just like a police officer does, you're able to, get qualified, gets trained, even on tasers. I mean, even a taser for EMS would be a good idea, in my opinion. You're not able to really harm the person. It is non-lethal force. 9 times out of 10, it can, but it does not normally cause death. And you do have to be tased in Alabama to be able to carry a taser. So to me, that should be a regulatory standard to...
Have you ever been tased?
I have not. That's why I never carried a taser in Mount Vernon.
You ever been pepper sprayed?
I have. Oh, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have?
Why do you think I have pepper spray?
Do you want to go higher up in the police department?
Me?
Yeah. Did you I get it. Okay. Did you want to be like a lieutenant, a sergeant, or like a captain, or any of that?
Like the canine and stuff.
Hi. Hello. When I first started, I did not. I had no aspirations to do anything. When I first started, I see that. It's a popsicle. Yeah. So my granddaughter's here, and she is playing outside, and she has a popsicle. When I first started, I had no aspiration to go any higher than just to be a police officer. And then I started wearing the uniform, and we had black uniforms, and I just wanted to get out of the uniform after I started, and that was street crimes. And street crimes wore whatever they wanted to wear and their gun. And that's what I wanted to be, because I didn't want to wear the uniform anymore because it was black. That was it. That was my aspiration.
Easily identifiable.
And then I realized that they were all assholes, so I didn't want to do that anymore. And then I was always in the chief's office, so...
Not you.
Yes. I stayed in the chief's office. I was always in trouble because I didn't care who I pissed off. I told them how it was. It didn't matter if they were part of the town council, if they were an alderman. In fact, I wrote the alderman like 12 citations, and I got in so much trouble I thought they were going to fire me. And the chief called me in his office and he went off on me, and I said, I didn't realize that you were this political, and this feels like that you're just pulling a political move, and I don't give a fucking shit. And when I leave this office, if you fire me, I'm going to call every news station I can and tell them that you're doing this because I'm a female and you're political, and the alderman is a black female and you're a white male, and that's what I'm going to make it about. So fuck you. That's exactly what I said. I don't know if you can say fuck on this podcast.
I do all the time. So.
Okay. But I kept my job, but again, I had to ride.
I have a disclaimer, so
okay. I had to ride. I had to ride with somebody else for quite a while. And don't get me wrong, y'all know me. I have an attitude.
No, not at all.
So they made me ride with somebody so I could learn to tone it down and to be more community public friendly and keep my mouth shut.
I don't know.
So you didn't want to go like
no, not at all.
Like SWAT or K9 or something?
Yeah.
Or like,
No.
or like different areas of it?
No. And so at first I thought SWAT would be fun just because of the movie.
Yeah.
But so I had my best friend through the police department, and I mean even outside of the police department, his name is Jimmy, and he was SWAT driven. And him and I would go out and would shoot together, and it'd piss him off because sometimes I'd shoot a little better than he would. And there was a time where I thought that I'd like to go out, and I was in really great shape then. This is right before I had Gracie, right out of the academy. And I'd really considered about going out for SWAT. Now, I've got 3 kids at home, right? They're all little. And I was on night shift. So I'd work from, well, I say night shift. I was working 2 to 10. And at the time, my husband was working he'd work 6 to 4. So we had a babysitter that was just a few hours. And it was usually, well, it was Jimmy's girlfriend of the month. And, or it was Jimmy. Jimmy and I would try to swap whatever. And we would do days and off and on, or, and his kid went to the same school, and you understand.
Right.
But we were on several bad calls, and I found that, and it wasn't just Jimmy, it was a few of them. We had this family at the police department, and there were several bad calls where, because I'm just going to be really honest, I was a shit magnet. And if anything could fucking happen, it happened to me. There was this one call, and I don't know if you remember this call or not, but I was just going down the road. I'm just driving down the road, and I get this call, and they're like, hey, there's this suspicious female, and she was going into this grocery store, and it was just a small little hole-in-the-wall grocery store, and they knew who she was. She's always had drugs on her, and she was always causing problems with this person, and they did not want her in the business, and she wasn't even supposed to be there. So I had to go in, and when I went in, I saw her. I see her. I've got my eyes on her. She's got her eyes on me. She takes her drugs and she throws them. And you're like, you dumb bitch. I see you. So I had to put my hands on her. And when I put my hands on her, we're tussling. And we're out in front of this business, and it's mainstream.
Right.
Mainstream traffic is going up and down. I have my radio, and I've already called them. They know I'm there. There's another unit on their way, but it's just me and her.
Right.
People are seeing what's going on. So they're calling 911 and saying, hey, you got a female officer out here fighting. What's going on? And you hear them on the radio. I hear them, but
right.
I'm tussling. I'm not on the radio.
You can't get your mic when you're fighting.
But it's keying up.
Right.
And it's like, bitch, ass, fuck. And it's on the radio. So, it's keying up. They hear it. They're getting calls, so they know. So all you hear is at the cars, and you hear over the PA other officers screaming on their PA, and you hear people jumping out of the car and coming in, they're running. That's all you hear. And I'm sorry, I know that was loud.
No, you're good.
But
I can edit it.
there's all kinds of people running, and all I do is I always felt somebody grab me by the back of my belt and throwing me, and they're jumping on top over, and there's spray everywhere. And when spray would go, okay, so I'm short. I'm very short. I'm 5'2", and I'm down close to the ground. And spray is heavy.
It is, and it burns like a bitch.
And it goes down. And when it goes down, I get it. I would always get it. I learned how to work great with spray on my face because it was all over me. And I'm still whooping this girl's ass. Like, I didn't let go of her. If I'm flying, she's flying. And I'm still like, I'm just attached to her. You know, like, she's not going anywhere. And I'm hollering about the drugs and where they're at. I'm like, grab them drugs because this bitch is going to jail and I'm going to whoop her ass some more. Grab the drugs. So then, like, I didn't realize that the person that was there, of course, was Jimmy. And the other guys that were going out for we called it SRT, which is Special Response Team.
Special Response Team, yep.
And so after all this is done, I realized, so if I go out for this team and they're on this team, what's going to happen if I get in trouble and if I fall behind? Their focus is no longer going to be on the objective. Their focus is going to be on me.
Right.
And we have already had to have, Jimmy and I had to have a conversation with their father. So their father had an issue with Jimmy's relationship with me because him and I would work together about taking care of the kids. And he got extremely jealous in a husband manner, but there was nothing going on.
Right. He was just
strictly platonic.
He was a real partner. I mean, it's hard to find an EMS, hard to find a police, but you do find those true partners, and that's hard to find. In fact, nice to have.
I was his excuse for most of his girlfriends of, they'd come to me and they would be like, Jimmy's not at home and he's not answering the phone. Where is he? And they would search the house. I was like, well, he's not here. What makes you think he's here? Well, because he's always with you. So I know you're messing around with. Do you see Jimmy? Like, Jimmy and I don't know. You don't understand our relationship, and apparently you don't understand Jimmy at all.
Right.
I'm not that. But if you want to use me as that excuse,
Go ahead.
Fine.
Right.
And he would. And I was like, whatever. It's fine. Of course, I would know what Jimmy was doing, but I would never tell because I was that partner. But I knew that if I ever got in that situation, and Jimmy told him, he was like, we sat down and he told Stephen, he said, you don't understand, at the end of the day, she's going to come home before I do. Because at work, she's mine. And she's going to come home. She has 3 kids. I have 1. She's going to take care of my son and she's going to take care of yours.
Right.
So I knew then that I could never go out for SRT because now then his focus is not going to be on the objective.
Right.
And he was great. And so were the other guys. They were great at what they did.
Right.
But if I put myself in that situation,
you're putting them at risk.
Yes. So my best duty was, you know what? I'll fall back. I'll help you do your paperwork.
Right.
I'll help you log your evidence, which was also great because I was always fucking hurt. So I was doing it anyway.
The specialty skills we learn as we're getting injured on the job.
Right. And
or pregnant, I guess.
Yeah, or pregnant, because then I got pregnant not long after that. I got knocked up, not by Jimmy. It was not Jimmy's child.
That would have been a good story,
Stevens.
though. That would have been a good story.
Yeah. I'm sure there were many stories that it was Jimmy's child, but it was not Jimmy's child. It was Stephen's child. It may have been better to have been Jimmy's child. But
well, I mean, I have met your ex-husband, and he's not the greatest or most pleasant to be around.
No,
but anyways.
He's not. No. But Gracie is a great child, and I love who she is.
I love all your kids.
Yes.
I mean, Maizee's here now with us, but
she would have rather have been Jimmy's child. In fact, she probably claims that she is Jimmy's child. But
when people ask, I just say my father's dead. So
yeah, I do that as well.
That cuts down on a lot of questions.
Yeah. But
so one more question. I just got a couple more questions.
I'm sorry. I'm so far off. I told you got to keep me on subject.
You're good. I mean, again, I can edit things. I'm going to edit a lot of words, and
I'm
going to send it to you before I post it.
I can go far off subject.
No, I'm not.
I go off subject so easy.
You're good. I mean, it helps.
Brain damage.
Actually, a lot of the questions you've already answered a lot of questions that
I'm not
are in
reading
here.
it.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm not either, and you've already answered most of them anyway. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's a script. The script is not hard set. I mean, this is like Jordan just said, 2 brain damaged medics on a podcast that other medics and other first responders listen to. I mean, come on now, they know the deal. You know, I mean, honestly, this is a hobby of mine and I enjoy doing it. So what the fuck's the problem?
Yeah.
TMI.
You know, anyone wants to bitch about it, they can kiss my ass. But if so,
just so you know, since she came out here and she's part of the conversation now, Maizee is the child that was there when I offered the nurse sexual services for Tylenol, and she told me to be nice.
so just a little background for everybody. Maizee and I both work at the same island we were talking about earlier as PSOs. So that's actually how I met Susan in the beginning.
Maizee became a paramedic while I was in the hospital after I had a stroke. So she is full-fledged.
Well, I
Full
got an
circle.
introduction to neurological issues really quick.
I mean, I did have a stroke in paramedic school, so.
And then didn't tell us.
Hey, I was trying to be covert.
You're hard.
We literally sat together like a quarter of the time. You still didn't tell me.
You're hard-headed. Hard-headed.
No.
I didn't even know he had a stroke, and then me and the kids went right into IHOP to get food anyway.
What, was he walking in circles?
No.
IHOP.
So the funny thing about all that is I called 911 on myself. I don't remember it, but I called 911 on myself and told them I'm having a stroke.
I think I'm having a stroke.
Oh my god.
So if you could go back to your younger self, fresh in the uniform, what would you say to yourself?
Trauma loves trauma.
Yeah.
Don't be a shit magnet.
Sleep more.
Sleep more.
Divorce the husband.
And divorce the husband sooner.
Go ahead and buy a back brace.
Back
Start
brace.
saving money.
I'm sorry, leg brace.
Leg brace. Save the knees. Don't be a catcher.
Start saving money.
Do what?
Start saving money.
Start saving money.
Learn how to take breaks.
Blood thinners.
Blood thinners are your best friend.
Aspirin. Yes, aspirin.
How about don't take a handful of Tylenol on an empty stomach?
No, Tylenol wasn't the problem. It was ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you really want to leave the workforce, like the police thing, when you had your stroke, or did you just like wanted to go back to it?
Well, she didn't leave the police because of the stroke. She left the police because she popped her Achilles tendon in half.
Yeah,
I know, but
she
if
busted
you
her
didn't
Achilles
have
for the
that,
police.
Would you still go back to the police force?
I
So
would.
she's asking if you didn't break, if you didn't have all your injuries, would you go back to being a cop?
Yeah.
I would
Instead
have.
of all the-
I would have loved to go back to being a police officer. I would have loved it.
Instead of like going to EMS and firefighter.
So I'm on a when I got injured, I had to sign I got a retirement, and given that if I go to another department and I were to take a physical, I wouldn't pass it because my leg is messed up. I can't run. I look, it's horrific. It's not pretty, but
She looks like the $10 million man.
yeah, my leg doesn't, my ankle doesn't, it doesn't flex, or is it dorso, or anyway. So I can't pass a test for anything, and I had to sign a waiver that said that I would not try to go and be a police officer, and in return they had to pay me a retirement fund
Until you die.
until I die, or I had to choose my retirement fund. But if I do go and try to be under their description of whatever I signed, there's a
Big
limitations.
description,
If I go and do that, then I lose my retirement.
Couldn't
So-
you just like go in there and do like desk work?
No, that's what
No.
she's saying. She can't go back to the police department.
The only thing at the time I could go and be like a police chief, but who's gonna hire me as a police chief?
It's the early 2000s.
They're not
She's
gonna
a
hire me
woman
as a police chief.
and would never shut up.
That's the problem.
If you think it's too heavy to say it anyway. It beats a eulogy. You don't have to apologize for surviving however you can. You're not the reason things are heavy, you're the reason they're still moving. Need support right now? Text or call 988 or visit 988lifeline.org. You're not alone, not in this job, not in this fight. Want to share your story or connect? Visit critical-run.com or message the Facebook page Dispatched and Dysfunctional. We're building this for you, for them, for all of us.
That was part 2 of Susan's story. Next week, we'll wrap it up with part 3, the final chapter.